Well, salutations, kindred spirits. Hey, greetings, and welcome to another online card magic learning experience. And today we are talking card magic, but you're not going to need two decks. Heck, you're not even going to need one deck, as our subject matter today is essential small packet handling. Sleight of hand with just a few cards, and you'll find most of the techniques we talk about today are using just 3 or 4 cards, sometimes 5 or 6 or 8. But for the most part, if you got 4 cards in your hand, you'll be able to learn most of the stuff we're talking about today. I've grabbed 4 red-backed queens and 4 blue-backed aces. I think this is enough to cover all of the techniques I have in mind. And hey, let's get started with essential small packet handling. I think it's appropriate to start with 2 of the most popular false counts, as we say in the business, false counts, designed to conceal a card in position. In this case, I have a face-up ace lowermost. As I count the cards from hand to hand, apparently counting 4 cards, in that case, the Jordan count conceals the lowermost card. Here I'm in the Elmsley count position, and those are the 2 false counts we're going to discuss. First and foremost, the Jordan count and the Elmsley count. You'll find they work well together. Practicing the moves from one to the next makes a lot of sense. And a lot of the routines you do will use both of these techniques in the same routine. So let's get started with really the granddaddy. When Charles Jordan put this in print in the 30s, it was kind of the first handling of its type. Jordan used the move to displace cards. So he wasn't necessarily hiding cards in a packet as he counted them. He was secretly positioning them differently. And this is another application for the Jordan count. You can use these moves for lots of things. I'm going to give you just the bare bones, as this video is intended kind of as just a reference video going forward in your magic journey. If you need to, like, oh, how did I do the Hamman count, or what was that Rhumba thing? Well, now you can come back to this video. You'll have yourself a nice resource reference work. And as noted, let's get started with the details on the Jordan count. So get yourself a packet of 4 cards with the lowermost card face up and begin with it pinched at the long side between the fingertips and the thumb. The counting action begins by pulling the uppermost card from the top of the packet into the dealing grip. I like to begin the peel by butting the edge of the packet against the thumb base and then pulling the top card diagonal just a bit before pulling it downward. This ensures a clean top card pull, and it's necessary more so for some of the other counts, but it's a good practice to get into taking the packet, butting it here, thumb on top, diagonal pull, and then pull downward. And this will serve you well moving forward. That's your count of 1. Repeat it for a count of 2, and then on the count of 3 is when all our secret actions happen. It begins by bringing the packet together, coalescing all of the cards back in that pinch grip. So we're back here. Only momentarily is that the case, as our thumb now does a block push-off of everything above the lowermost card. So our thumb, as square as we can here, pushes everything over, and it's that is counted as our 3rd card, which will leave a single card, and that will be counted lastly on top as 4. This leaves us with the card 3rd from the top. This is Elmsley count position. We'll get to the Elmsley count again in a second. Let's make sure we understand the Jordan. Pinched at the long edge, pull that first card off, pull the 2nd card off, square the packet, block push off everything above the lowermost card, count that as 3, and then the 4th one goes on top as well. We'll be taking a look at these over the shoulder as well for your viewing edification. Here's what that looks like. Again, Jordan count position, the card is lowermost, the packet begins pinched, that first card is pulled in this position, the 2nd card is pulled atop it, the packet is squared, the block push-off is executed as count number 3 is made, all 3 cards, last card is dropped on top. That's the Jordan count. Now, when Alex Elmsley published the 4-card trick, which is where the ghost count first saw print, later to be known as the Elmsley count, he literally changed the face of magic, as this technique has probably been applied to more card tricks and routines than just about anything in the history of magic. Designed to conceal the 3rd card, or again, cards. Let me just briefly show you what I mean here. If I put those red back queens in the middle of this 3-card packet, I can still count those 3 cards as 1, 2, 3, 4 blue back cards. This brief demonstration of the versatility of the Elmsley technique, and if you can get through the Jordan count, you should be able to get through this. The moves are not dissimilar, and I will explain how they can be practiced efficiently together. Let's start with the basic mechanics of the Elmsley count. The grip is the same as the Jordan, with the fingers pinching it at the side with the thumb on the top. We begin with the first count as we did in the Jordan, pulling that single card into the dealing grip of the awaiting hand, and then as we go back for a second card, a couple secret actions happen simultaneously. We do a block push-off above the lower card. Everything above the lower card here with the thumb gets pushed over. And as we go to pull this card as our second card, it's cards as our second card, this card gets replaced at the bottom of the packet. And I really want you to think about replacing this card as your initial action. So think about putting this card back and then do that block push-off. And that's the card that gets counted second. So that's the card just went back, and then you just complete the count with 3 and 4. We're in Jordan count position now. Hoorah! We'll get back to that in a second. Let's do this Elmsley count one more time. Third from the top, pinch grip, pull the first card. As we go back for the second, this one is replaced, and we do the block push-off of everything above the bottom card. Pull this, my fingertips are just pinching that lowermost card now, and then 3 and 4. Let's do one over the shoulder for you here with the cards beginning in the pinch grip. That diagonal peel for the first one. Our block push-off is executed here. This card gets placed on the bottom, and the thumb is pinched right here. See how it's pulling those 2 as 1, and then 3 and 4. Elmsley count over the shoulder. And hey, as mentioned, these 2 moves do work well together in a practice session. So if you're rehearsing your Jordan count, you can go right into the Elmsley count afterwards. So here's our Jordan count, counting 3 as 4. Leaves us in Elmsley count position, followed up with an Elmsley. You spend a couple of 5 or 6 nights, do this while you're watching a movie or watching your favorite YouTube episode, something like that. You'll get pretty good at this, should have it down in no time. That's how you chain together the Elmsley count and the Jordan count. Now, while we're in this ballpark, I have 2 more false count techniques I want to discuss, and the first one is Ed Marlowe's out-of-position Elmsley count. So in this case, we have a card second from the top face up, but I still want to count them as 1, 2, 3, 4 face down cards. One more time. Second from the top, face up, but thanks to Ed Marlowe's Opec out-of-position Elmsley count, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 face down cards. So the scoop here is, again, card or cards, second from the top, face up. We're going to begin this counting procedure by removing the lowermost card as we count 1. So I have the packet in a dealing grip. I'm going to place it into that pinch grip that we've been using, and then push everything above the lowermost card with my left thumb in this case, just kind of doing a block push off into the awaiting right hand pinch grip. And then I gesture with the left hand on the count of 1. So that's 1. Now we do the Elmsley count mechanics, which is the block push off of everything above the bottom card. This card gets put back to the bottom as we pull the top card or cards off as a count of 2, and then 3, and then 4. It's very similar to the Elmsley count. It just kind of has a different take on the beginning. Again, started in dealing grip, block push off into a pinch grip as we gesture forward on 1. Elmsley count mechanics for 2, 3, and 4. And if you want it over the shoulder, I know a lot of you like this view. Here it is, the out of position Elmsley count over the shoulder. So it's in dealing grip, block push off, pinch, 1, Elmsley count mechanic, 2, 3, 4. That's the Opec count. So the Elmsley, the Jordan, the Opec count, small packet, hand-to-hand counts, often used in routines like twisting the aces, where the aces reverse themselves one at a time, or small packets of cards reverse themselves. If you're going to study this kind of routine, let me re-mention the Alex Elmsley effect, the 4-card trick. It's a great handling, and it's one that also shows the versatility of false counts. Displacements, reversals, transformation, things of that nature. The Alex Elmsley 4-card trick. And hey, if you do intend to perform some of these, twisting aces routines where the cards reverse themselves, you're probably going to want to familiarize yourself with the 2 as 4 count, where you apparently count 4 cards face down. In this case, just showing 2 of the backs, essentially executing multiple block push-off switches. Idea from Jeff Busby, though, the guy I saw do this. He was great at it. Daryl Martinez. Chameleon cards. Put that on your research list, and let's move onward with the 2 as 4 count. It starts with those 2 cards, or it could be 6 cards with 4 face up. We're just going to count the top and the bottom card as 4. Here's the details with the packet pinch, just as in the other counts. Fingers on the bottom, thumb on top. On the count of 1, we're going to do a block push off of everything below the bottom card. So all those face up cards get pushed over, and that is pulled off on a count of 1. On the count of 2, we're just essentially going to switch these packets. It's a controlled procedure. I bring them together. This is like the Elmsley count. The packet comes together, and then I pull in this case, just the top card. I use that diagonal pull to maintain the control over the packet. You don't want to have these cards splaying, so it is important to have that control, butting the packet here, the thumb pulling just the single off. So heed the details here, heed the details. And then on the count of 3, again, the packet comes together. It's everything squared up. And now, again, the control block push-off is executed. So everything above the bottom card, that's 3 and that's 4. That's the action of the 2 as 4 count. Block push off, count as 1, square the packet, diagonal pull, that's 2, square the packet, block push off, 3 and 4. Here's your over the shoulder look. The packet is pinched, the block push off is executed, pulled on the count of 1. The packet is squared, the diagonal pull is taken on 2. Packet is squared, that block push off happens as we count 3 and 4. With a little bit of practice, a little timing, it'll look like you just count 4 cards. When Ed Marlowe published this, he called it a subtlety, the Olram Subtlety, Olram, Marlowe backwards. This, much like the Elmsley Count, designed to conceal one surface of a group of 4. For example, here there's a red back queen, but that red back seems to vanish as we show the backs of all 4 cards, and this is just a brief exhibition of the Olram Subtlety. It's pretty easy, and here's the details, beginning with that odd backer, in this case second from the top in this position. The packet's in dealing grip, and I push the top card into the other hand, pinch grip, same position we've been using. And then what I do is flash the back of the left hand and the back of the right hand card. So this is implying that I'm showing the back of the queen, but I'm just doing this. Thumbing both these cards off onto the table and then taking one into each hand completes the Olram Subtlety. We're here, we're here. If you need that over the shoulder, here you go. That's our position. Thumb the top card, flash the backs, thumb these off, and flash the backs. Olram Subtlety. And when it comes to concealing multiple identities in a small packet, there might not be a more useful technique than this one. And here we're looking at Brother John Hammon's Flushtration Count. Here showing 4 red-backed aces, but not really. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 blue cards. Yeah, snuck in a buckle at the end here, the buckle. We'll get to that in a minute. I have a red back card. Counting 1 card as 4 in this case is the ruse of the Flushtration Count. And here we're just holding the cards in biddle grip or overhand shuffle grip by the short ends. Thumb at the bottom, fingers at the top. The hand rotates at the wrist to show the surface that you want to show, in this case a red back. Flips palm down, and then the face card is peeled into the awaiting dealing grip of the other hand. So flashing the card here, turn the hand over, peel. This is the action of the Flushtration Count. Here it is over the shoulder, biddle grip, flash, peel, flash, peel, flash, peel. Probably best to break your timing up a little bit here, so you're showing here, maybe these 2 are quick. Give your audience a little bit of spice with the move. When I have the luxury of dealing cards to the table, I like to employ Jean-Pierre Vallerino's Rhumba Count to conceal the identities of multiple cards using just that single surface. And in this case, I have, 4 blue-backed aces with just a red queen on top. This is the Rhumba Count. It starts in dealing grip, and the other hand approaching palm down in this case. That pinch. The pinch grip, palm down, fingers on top, thumb below, and then the hand rotates palm up. From here, a block push-off is executed by the fingers. So everything below the top card is pushed leftward as the hand revolves from palm down to palm up. And then the fingertips flip those cards, that block, palm down into the awaiting hand. This is the action of the Rhumba Count. Palm down, block push-off from the fingertips below, and then turn that lowermost parcel over. It's routine dependent. You might go through this whole packet, like some of the routines will go all the way to the end. If I turn this up, it's a queen. But it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish with the Rhumba Count. So if I just wanted to show 4 red aces, I would take the double and scoop here. Let me show you the over-the-shoulder shot. So the packet's face down, the other hand approaches palm down and pinches, it turns palm up, the thumb holds as the fingertips push to the left, and then the fingertips flip that block over. Repeat the action, palm down, as the hand turns up, the block push-off is executed, the fingertips flip, and this is our Rhumba Count. So while the Flushtration and the Rhumba Count might seem obvious, let me tell you, entire routines have been built on the backs of these sleights. And if you're not familiar with Dominique Duvivier's printing or Daryl's versions, Presto, Printo, go check those routines out and hey, I'll prove you wrong. Now when Ascanio published this technique, he called it the snake or the serpent. The idea being to get a nice flow of the cards as they move from hand to hand, concealing, in this case, that red card in a group of 4. This is the Ascanio Spread, and here's the details. We begin with the packet in dealing grip. Again, the cards to be concealed, and I will note, like before, it doesn't have to be 1. Here's the Ascanio Spread with all 4 queens there in the middle. Again, we're concealing multiple cards, same techniques. Pretty cool, huh? We'll keep it simple on ourselves for the explanations and just use that 1 odd backer. And our grip is overhand shuffle, or biddle grip. Fingers at the front short edges, thumb at the back short edges. We're going to start by back spreading 2 cards from the bottom. So the fingertips here are going to drag the lowermost card and then the second card. And then the thumb clamps down on the uppermost card here. This allows us to pull everything there to the left, extracting the double card in the right hand. Now, I'm not going to pull that card out, although you might want to. It kind of depends. Some Ascanio spreads will pull this out. I'm going to advocate this technique for sure. It's one of the intentions that Ascanio had. As opposed to pulling the spread apart, once you get here, just move that double downward slightly. All right, so I'm doing the Ascanio spread actions. I move the double down slightly. Now what I'm going to do is use my pinky of my left hand and the base of my thumb, and I'm going to lock that double into place after the spread. So I'm going to move that down. The tip of the pinky and the base of the thumb are going to keep these 2 cards aligned as I do the displacements here as necessary. So look, pinky and thumb base. These 3 cards can move around in snake fashion while keeping this card aligned. Let me go back to the Ascanio position. And it's really routine dependent onto where I will go after I get here. Like sometimes I'll spread and put things back. Sometimes I'll spread and make a displacement, putting things elsewhere. And here, let's take a look at this over the shoulder. I'm sure this will have some value. Again, we're starting with our odd card in the center. Beginning grip is biddle grip. Pull with the fingers of the left hand, the lowermost, and then the second card. So it's first finger, then second finger for me. Thumb is on top, and then the right hand extracts. It could go out to show, but in general, I'm going to suggest you pull, then move down here and clamp, and then take the cards as needed into the other hand to make your adjustments. That'll all be routine dependent, but I hope I gave you enough information to get started on the Ascanio spread. All right, I beefed up the packet just a little bit here. This to show you how to hide multiple cards in a packet. And if I was using this technique, it would be most likely in a wild card style effect. And here we're looking at Brother John Hammon's Hamman Count, designed to conceal the surface of multiple cards as we count from a biddle grip or an overhand shuffle grip once again. I'll tell you the key here, it's really the second and the third fingers that are going to execute a packet switch as the cards are counted from hand to hand. So the second finger and thumb with the thumb at the back corner kind of control the packet as the opposing hands peels one at a time. The first three peels are normal. It's the fourth peel in this case. And again, it'll be routine dependent, but the action of the Hamman count is this. As I apparently count this card, I'll count the entire packet. And what I'm going to do here is reclaim this packet with the third finger and release with the second now. So as I peel down here, that exchange is made, allowing me to continue the count of the three cards that were just counted. So once again, it's thumb and second finger. 1, 2, 3. Switch fingers, switch the packets, 4, 5, 6, 7. Traditionally, a wild card routine might have a card out of place. Like say I'm counting 9 cards here. I want to show the ace of diamonds. So I would say, here's a trick with 2, 3, 4 red cards, the ace of diamonds, and 4 more red cards. This is an action of how you might run into the wild card. If you study the wild card, you'll see how that kind of situation applies. All right, so here's your over-the-shoulder look at this Hamman count with the thumb and the second finger controlling the block as the left thumb peels cards one at a time. Here we go for the switch. On the count of 4, the entire packet is going to be pulled as the third finger and thumb pick up this packet, and then continuing the count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red cards. In this case, that's the Hamman count. All right, in this next section, I'm going to talk about 3 different ways to do multiple turnovers from a small packet, multiple turnover. Say, for example, you want to turn over the top card, but actually turn over 3 as 1. We'll go over some ways that you can do that. What you just saw was the buckle. This is an essential technique where the forefinger at the index corner just pulls in towards yourself. It buckles the bottom card away from the other cards, so now I can pinch here and revolve those cards over, apparently turning the top card over and or back down. Now that buckling action is visible from the front, and for that reason it's not my favorite. Although I should also note, if you're doing the buckle, let's keep it minute, okay? Like that's probably too much. Like that's enough right there. Don't be, you don't got to get all up in there. Just need a tiny buckle. But still, as noted, even that is visible from the front. So for this reason, I might suggest the pinky pull down over the buckle. And this is just taking your little pinky and pulling down on the bottom card. So if I wanted to turn over the top cards, like the top 3 cards, I just pull down with a pinky, go over in here, and then flip them over as a block. Repeating the process, pulling down with the pinky, flipping over a block. Let's check this out. Over the shoulder, the pinky pulls down, the fingers go in, the block is flipped up. The pinky pulls down, the fingers go in, the block is pushed up. Pinky pull down. Now both the buckle and the pinky pull down have multiple uses beyond multiple turnovers, so don't disregard them, but I do want to note that you can just do a block push off of everything above the bottom card, and we'll look at the Brother John Hamman technique here to get even better doubles from a small packet. So this is no breaks, no get ready. I'm just using my thumb and the base of the thumb kind of as a swivel point to push everything above the bottom card as a packet, pinch that packet, and then revolve it as 1. I do maybe try and keep my hands in motion a little bit. Maybe as I turn over, I come down. In other words, I'm not letting my audience just burn this action right here, right? I'm going to try and keep this packet in motion a little bit as I handle a block push off of 3 cards, just to make it a little bit more deceptive. All right, here's an over-the-shoulder view with the packet and dealing grip. Again, that corner's right in the thumb base, and the thumb is along the side, ready to execute. It just block push-offs everything over the bottom card. Pinch here, revolve over, and that's the block push-off. All right, I got one more handling for you in these small packet multiple turnovers, and that is this elegant solution from, again, Brother John Hamman. This is his multiple turnover from a small packet. In this case, apparently showing the top card to be the Ace of Hearts, but I'm just doing a double lift. And this technique related to the multiple or the block push-off. Like we just showed, the block push-off begins in dealing grip. The thumb is going to push the top 3 cards to the right. The forefinger is key here in holding this lowermost card stable as the second finger now comes into play and contacts the 3rd card from the top, and then the thumb continues the multiple push-off action of the double, which is now pinch. So that's our double card. So this is the action. Squared packet, block push-off of 3, fingertip contacts the 3rd card, and then a block push-off of 2. The hand is moving, of course, as I pinch and then square everything up as I turn over. And this is the action of the Brother John Hamman multiple turnover from a small packet. Block push-off, double, pinch, square as the cards are flipped. Give you a look over the shoulder here. Again, packet is squared. Our corner is the pivot. The thumb block does the block. The second fingertip contacts. The block is continued. The right hand pinches. And the packet is squared as the card is revolved face up. It's a great technique. Thank you, Brother John. Now, there's about 8,000 reasons to say the name Ed Marlowe when you're talking about card magic. Here's one of them, and this is his Diminishing Lift, or I think he had this in the Future Classic manuscript. So Ed might have called this the Future Classic display. Basically known as the Diminishing Lift sequence now, and this is how we can show essentially a packet of 4 cards that consist of all the same cards. Here I'm doing a multiple of 3, a multiple of 2, a single card turnover, and then a simple switch just to show this last one. So this is Ed's Diminishing Lift sequence, and whether you use the pinky pull down or the block push off or a buckle, we start by turning the top 3 cards over as 1 and then turn that packet face down. That was a buckle. Here's a block push-off. Push off the top 2 as 1, and then turn the top 2 face down. Block push-off. You can do a pinky pull-down maybe if you want. The 3rd card is genuine. Genuinely turn that card over, and then turn that card face down. Then as you apparently take the card, your fingertips actually grab the lowermost card from the packet, and then use this packet to flip up what is essentially the last ace face up, but it's the old swapperoo there. All right, so one more time, and maybe this time we start with a pinky pull down, separating the lowermost card to facilitate the block turnover. Here we're going to do a buckle to do a double, just for fun. Now a multiple push off, turn over the 3rd one, turn it face down, and again, the fingertips pull as the thumb pulls here, and you really should use the packet to flip this card over, and that's Ed Marlowe's Diminishing Lift. All right, let's just give you this over the shoulder look at this technique. I'll just use block push-offs to exhibit this one more time. Block push-off of 3, turn it down. The top card provides shade here, which is nice as we continue the block push-offs, and the fingertips are flipping it from below. So that's the second one. An honest turn on the 3rd one. And then again, my fingers grab from below here as my thumb just pulls, and then these cards turn over that last one and turn it back down. Now, before I'm done talking about Ed Marlowe, there's one more Marlowe thing to discuss here. Of all the things with his name on it, this is one that you're more likely to be familiar with, as it was released in a very popular trick called Color Monte that allows you to show the same card being in 3 places at once, and here we have an ace that's not only on the bottom, but also in the middle and also on the top. So one more time, it's an ace of spades on the bottom. I also have an ace of spades on the top of the packet, and yes, you got it, there's also an ace of spades in the middle. This is Ed Marlowe's quick 3-way procedure. Directly related, I got to point out the Hamman Crist alignment move, directly related to this technique. Let me describe this alignment procedure of pulling back with the forefinger. Thumbs at the back of this packet. Thumbs at the back, pull back with the forefinger. Second finger rests on top of the second card, and then you push everything over the bottom card forward. So I'm sliding everything forward, until my thumb butts up against the bottom card, aligning it with the top card. So now I can pinch these two as one and revolve them face up as a single, but it's actually a double. This is the Hamman alignment move. So that's the alignment move. That's the alignment move. Applying it to quick three-way, as Marlowe did, you begin with the packet and dealing grip. Card you want to show is the lowermost. Show this palm up procedure, replace it down, do the alignment move, and then the double turnover to show the top card as apparently the card you want to show on top, and then execute a double, a block push off, a pull down, a block, buckle, whatever you like, turning those two cards over as one, and then extracting that center card to show it as the last third ace. This is the Marlowe quick three-way procedure, and boy, what a powerhouse of an illusion this is. And here it is over the shoulder with the packet in a face-down dealing grip. I approach the packet from above with the palm down hand, revolve to show the face card of the packet. As the cards go down, I execute the Hamman alignment move. So my thumb's at the back, second finger gets on the second card as these get pushed forward, pinching the inner ends and revolving that over. I really prefer the block push-off here for the double, and then extract that middle card. That's the quick three-way. Wow, thanks Ed Marlowe. And hey, while I could keep going here, I tried to keep this list at top 10 techniques. I think I bumped it up to like 14. I hope you found some of these tools fit well in your Cardman's kit. Hey, I'm gonna go film some videos showing you some tricks with these moves. I'll see you on the next one.